Hey guys, just wanted to finish up this Christmas in July, get this thing wrapped up, no pun intended, because I'm getting really Christmased out, but I figured I'd save the holy grails of Christmas movies for the last installment of my Christmas in July, but figured I'd start off with Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1. Um, this movie's basically this kid witnesses some traumatic events, so to say, in the beginning involving a criminal dressed as Santa Claus, rapes his mother, kills his father, and all that. And basically, it shows him. He grows up in an orphanage by nuns that are abusive and all that. And you basically just see that. Then it flashes forward, and he's working at a department store, and something happens with a department store Santa. So the owner of this toy store he works at has Billy play the Santa, and he just snaps because of all the traumatic stuff that happened earlier, and that's basically the movie is him dispatching people on because he snapped dressing up as Santa, and that's the story pretty much. But it's really entertaining. It's one of the best. It's not my favorite of the series, believe it or not, but it's my second favorite. I do love it. It feels really Christmassy. There's some really cool deaths, like Linnea Quigley getting stabbed on the antlers of this deer head that's on the wall. And this double feature, it's actually, I think it's out of print. When I looked it up, I had to buy this used at FYE.com when I went to buy it because I couldn't find my original double feature for some reason. I don't know what happened to it, but couldn't find it, or it was on Amazon, but I ended up just buying it used at FYE.com because I had a gift card there and I ended up getting it for like $3. But uh, yeah, I can't really complain about part one. Some parts drag a little bit. There's a really cheesy, like 80s kind of montage of him lifting stuff and helping out at this toy store, and it has like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood type song playing, and it's really goofy. But there's, like I said, there's some cool deaths. Like the guy coming down on the sled gets his head completely chopped off by the axe in one swipe. But it's just fun. Mother Superior, who's the main nun at the school he grows up in, is you really hate her character, and yeah, it's the ending. It's kind of like a supposed to be the shocking ending. I don't want to give it away, but it's pretty corny, but that's what adds to the whole fun of it. So definitely, I'm sure everybody's seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, but if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which is included on this, is actually my favorite of the series, just because it's the most entertaining out of all of them. I know the first 30, 40 minutes is footage from the first one, but to me that's alright because there's scenes of Eric Freeman as Ricky, Billy's brother, in like a insane asylum, giving uh, commentary of what happened and all that. And this dude's acting, it's one of those things you have to see to believe. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen an actor do. But it's awesome. The dude, there's something really likable about the guy. The facial expressions he uses are just bizarre. And there's like this black security guy in part two at the beginning, and he says nothing. He just he just kind of stares at him, and Eric Freeman will stare back, and it's really bizarre. And then the second half of the movie, he escapes from the mental asylum and basically killing people, just like the first one. But there's tons of quotable lines in this. It's one of those movies where it's so bad, so cheesy, it's good. So definitely watch these two. If not the whole series, watch these two because this is what the series is all about here. Um, Definitely pick this release up if you could find it. It may be back in print. I don't know. I wouldn't have never thought this would be something that would be out of print, but definitely cool. Or you could wait that Scream Factory is releasing a Blu-ray of Part One that a lot of people are excited for because it didn't get a good treatment on Blu-ray, and I'm kind of excited for all the special features and stuff. But I wish they would include Part Two. They may. I don't know. I doubt it. But that'd be really awesome if we can get a Blu-ray transfer of part two. That would be a day one buy for sure. But one more thing I want to add about this too is this has the unedited footage spliced in, but the quality of the unedited footage is a lot worse than the quality of the film. So while you're watching it, you'll see huge downgrades in quality, but it's worth it to me just because I'd rather have the downgrade and see the cut footage. So that is what it is. But then there's this release, which is Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 through 5, and man, this 3-pack here was like really hard to get through actually. Part 3 is just really boring. It's really just dull. None of the sets are interesting. None of the people are interesting. It's basically Ricky is a I don't even know what you call him. He's in a coma. He has like a glass dome on his head that holds his brain in place and stuff. It's really bizarre. And this chick has like mental connection with him. She could see what he's dreaming for some reason. And and the story's super slow. Like I can't even stress that enough. This girl and her brother and the brother's girlfriend end up going to visit the grandmother on Christmas. The grandmother's missing, and the whole movie you're basically watching these people in the house do random things. Why Bill Moseley plays Ricky, who's a lot smaller than the original Ricky from part two. So that's kind of takes you out of it. But it just was really terrible, boring. You're just waiting forever for Ricky to go into the house, and when he does go to the house at the end to dispatch of the people, it's just uneventful and not climactic at all. It really sucked. I'll probably never watch it ever again. And I try not to give terrible ratings like that to movies because, there's a lot of bad movies that I'll rewatch just whatever because honestly, you forget that they're so bad and then you watch them. It's like, oh yeah, they're that bad. But this is one I'm sure I'll remember for the rest of the time knowing how bad it is because I hated it that much. But moving on to part four. I heard part four right off the bat. And by the way, part four and five, this was my first time seeing those two. Those past watches, I'd already seen 1 through 3 before. But part four was directed by Brian Yuzna, who did, I think, Bride of Reanimator, Society, The Dentist, a lot of stuff like that. And Screaming Mad George actually does the makeup effects and prosthetics in it, so it has a lot of those rubber effects that you'd see in like Nightmare on Elm Street and or Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Society and stuff. But this is it doesn't feel like a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie at all. It doesn't feel Christmas at all. This woman is investigating a spontaneous combustion incident that happened while she was walking down the street, and there's this like witch lady that runs this cult that works at a bookstore, and there's Clint Howard who he actually says he's Ricky, or he says he's the same. It's such a mess, and it's kind of boring too. But after watching 3, it's real good after watching 3. But it kind of sucks too. I really don't like part 4, and I gotta say part 5 is the best out of these 3. Basically, this kid witnesses these toys get dropped off to his house that kill his father, and the kid goes mute. And it's basically that there's this, it's almost like a Pinocchio story. And if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean at the end. And oddly enough, Mickey Rooney plays the head of this toy store, kind of, somewhat of the villain, kind of. But he actually really dissed the first one when the first one first came out, calling it trash. I can't believe they made something like this. And then cut all these years later, he's playing in the 5th installment of Silent Night, Deadly Night. So you kind of have to, at least I look at Mickey Rooney in a bad light because it's just you basically sold out. But that is what it is. But that was just a quick review of the series of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Wanted to get them out of the way. Besides, after the first one, quality goes way downhill. It's really not that good. But I'm a completist, so I had to get the last three. But I wish I was able to just get the first two and then call it a day. But it's just something in me, I can't do that. So it is what it is. But to end this whole Christmas in July thing, me and my buddy BDG Reviews just finished up a podcast that we posted on YouTube. Our episode 3, where we covered Black Christmas and its 2006 remake. And so we finished that. That was kind of the finale of my Christmas in July thing. So we hopped on that. And we actually have a episode we're recording this Saturday of the feature review will be Child Eater. So that'll be cool. Bring up the news and releases and get in-depth discussion on Child Eater. So I'm really excited about that because I heard the movie was good. But regardless, stay posted for that. Anyways, guys, peace.